Hi all, this is Emma from Plan Inspire Create, and today I'm going to be setting my goals for the next 90 days. So this week I'm releasing a video a day going through the process of evaluating my last 90 days and how I got on with my goals and setting up for the next 90 days. And yesterday's video finished wrapping up those last 90 days. So if you haven't seen those videos, I will leave a link in the description below if you want to watch those first. But today I'm going to set my goals for the next 90-day period. So something I mentioned yesterday was that when you get to the end of this planner, obviously you've used it all, and what happens next? And I believe I mentioned that there is a refill pack, which I've got here, one of the refill packs. These are going to be going up in the shop, that you can purchase that replace the essential planning pages that you've filled in. So this keeps it really low cost. You've not got to get a whole new planner every time, and you can just replace the pages that need replacing. So it's lower cost, it's environmentally friendly. I'm really excited about offering this option. So I'm going to show you the refill pack and how we go about resetting the planner for the next 90 days first. So they come in these nice glassine envelopes, so they can just be recycled. And if we open it up, you have your planner pages here. So if we move the old one for a second, you can see the instructions here at the front, which say, once you've completed a 90-day period, it's time to plan the next one. We want to keep moving forwards towards that vision. The Just 90 refill packs allow you to reuse this planner while replacing the essential planner pages. As all of the pages are numbered, this will prompt you which pages to take out and replace. You can keep your old planning pages if you wish. I recommend storing these in an envelope or folder for each 90-day period, or purchasing a spare set of discs to house your old inserts. Or you could even reuse the envelope that the refill pack came in. I'm so proud of you for continuing to work towards a happier and healthier life, and I really do believe we can do it together. So there's your instruction pack, and then behind here is all the pages that need replacing, and they're pre-punched. So we are just gonna go back to the beginning of my planner and replace these pages. So the first section is our vision section, so that's gonna stay the same. So then we want page 37 to start with. So I'm literally just gonna look what pages are here, see if they run in a row. Okay, so we've got pages 37 to 45 here. So I'm gonna literally just pull those off the discs, put them to one side, and I'm gonna replace the pages. Next is page 49. So you can see there's some that don't need replacing because they're literally just text. So we're not replacing all the pages every time, we're just replacing those ones that need it, that have been written on. So this time we've got pages 49 to 70, so a big chunk there. That's for the project planning. So it might make sense to put these in just two chunks. And then same again. We literally just line up a chunk of them and press them onto the disc. So it's really, really easy to reset your planner. So there we go. We have got a brand new planner now. So, I mean, obviously it's up to you. If you want to just purchase a new planner every time, you're more than welcome to do so. Then I have this little stack of previous inserts, and what I'm going to do is pop them inside this little envelope, which I'll reseal. And these stickers you can actually write on, so I'll probably just write the date in here, or maybe on the back that it started and finished, or put another little sticker on here, and then I can store these away if I want to keep them for future use. So now that the planner is all set up, ready to start filling in fresh, we're going to start with the goals section, and this is a section that I'm going to be completing today. So to recap this section, it starts with an explanation of the model of setting the goals in this 90-day planning system. So you have your vision at the top, then you break that down into 2 or 3 90-day goals. Then you break those goals down into 2 or 3 projects that will help you work towards those goals. And then for each project, you break it down into actions and habits. So this page gives an explanation of that. So your vision is your big picture plan for how you'd like your life to be in the future. Your goals are more specific and help you move closer to your vision. So they're really the point that you want to reach at the end of your 90 days. So they're not long-term goals, they're where do you want to be in 90 days' time. Then the projects are the things that you're going to undertake to enable you to complete those goals and reach that finishing point. And then when we're breaking it down into actions and habits, the actions are the individual tasks that you'll carry out in order to complete the project. And then habits are tasks you complete regularly, which over time will become part of a routine. And then there are some examples in here which I will kind of flip back and forth to help me when setting my goals. And if you want to see me going through this section in more detail, you can find the original goals video on my Just 90 playlist, which I will link below. And then we just have our quotes page, which says, if you can imagine it, you can achieve it. So choosing what to focus on. Something most people have in common is wanting to achieve a better balance in their life. But a common mistake is thinking that this means dedicating equal time to each of the areas within it. Not only is this impractical, it's not necessary to achieve the kind of life you want. We go through different phases in our lives, during which we experience different challenges and opportunities. Depending on your circumstances, you will want to prioritise certain areas over others. And this is exactly how it should be, as long as you're making an intentional choice. If you're being pulled in a direction you don't want to go and focusing on one area when you really want to prioritise another, then life will not feel balanced for you. However, if you make an intentional choice to focus on growth in particular areas, this will get you closer to living the life you described in your vision. So when you're setting your goals, remember that you don't need to do it all now. You can't, in fact. Think about which areas you want to focus on the most at this time in your life. You can come back to others, and you will if they remain a priority for you, but it's far better to make significant progress in the most important areas than minimal progress in them all. So then it says, take a look back at your vision and think about which areas you'd like to focus on first. Jot down some ideas for potential goals below. So I'm going to pull out a couple of things in order for me to do this exercise. So the first one, if I go back to my old inserts, is that exercise I did yesterday on the life satisfaction scores, because I highlighted where I was and wasn't happy, and I highlighted some areas that I thought I would want to set up goals for. Pop that back in the envelope. So I've got that here. So I said that I would like to potentially focus on physical, professional and financial, and values. So you will have seen in my video yesterday that there were some areas I wasn't so happy with, but I was leaving them for now and choosing to prioritise these areas. So that's what I think I'm going to focus on. And then I'm going to flip back to section 1 and just pull out my vision, so that I'm really looking at those vision statements and what it is I'm trying to work towards. Considering how many times this vision gets pulled in and out, I think it's holding up very well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and find a comfy chair. I'm going to make some notes on what I think I might want to work on, looking at my vision, looking at my life satisfaction scores, and then I'll come back and show you what I wrote. Okay, so I've made some notes in the 3 areas. So I've got physical, professional, and values. So I'll go through them. So for physical, I said my main thing I want to do is focus on rebuilding strength, because Having a chronic illness, it's something I've struggled with and I've been trying to do in the past without a lot of success. I've had some success, but I've had difficulties maintaining it. And then I've had major surgery and I feel like I've gone back to square one, if not further back than square one, and like being in the minuses. And then I just made a couple of notes under there. So whether it be to walk a particular distance by the end of the 90 days, establishing a regular exercise routine, and then I wrote graded exercise, so starting small and building up. Then under professional, I've put more autonomy over my business and improve the efficiency of my business. One of the projects that I didn't get all the way through last time under my professional goal was restructuring the way I work to make it more efficient. And I actually think there's multiple projects in that area that for the long term it would be really beneficial for my business if I could get those pieces of work done up front, because then everything I'm trying to do, I'm coming at it from a place where I've got more time available to do it within. So that's my idea for professional. And then values, I've said this also kind of links to social and community. So in my vision under spirituality and values, I have this statement that says, I will help and support others in a way that is sustainable for me and that feels meaningful. And that's what I want to focus on moving more towards, because I decreased in that area since I did it 3 months ago. And I said some of the activities I did to help others has fallen by the wayside and I'd like to prioritise that again. So I've written under here, contribute to causes that are important to me and support others in the autistic community on a more regular basis. So that's my initial thoughts. And then if we flip over the page, there are just some notes here on what makes a good goal. So in short, make them realistic. Can they be achieved in 90 days? Do I have the resources available? Because we don't want to be setting ourselves up to fail, but you don't want it to be too easy either. It's got to be a bit beyond your comfort zone. Make sure they're specific and measurable so that we know at the end whether we've actually achieved them. It's easier to do that with some goals than others. For example, last time I had a goal that was earning £600 profit, and that's easy. You look in your accounts and either you have or you haven't. But some more of those, you need to think about exactly how you're going to know it's been achieved. And then write them positively. So this is a good reminder. I always forget this one. So when I write goals, sometimes it can be natural for me to phrase them, stop doing X or do less of Y. But it's quite a self-critical way of phrasing your goals, and it can leave you feeling defeated before you've even really started. So a positive goal, if it's framed positively, it's more inspiring because it's more closely related to these vision statements and the end result that we're trying to achieve. And then considering the costs, what the planner is saying is there's a cost to everything we decide to complete. The cost can vary and can include things such as time, money, loss of comfort, risk, and impact on our health and well-being. So in order to achieve a particular goal, sacrifices need to be made in other areas. And that's often the reason we don't achieve our goals. For example, we might want to gain that promotion at work, but we don't want to stay at work for longer and sacrifice family time. Or we may want to give up cake and biscuits, but we don't want to give up the delicious flavour. So for each potential goal you have, you'll want to consider the sacrifices you may have to make. Are you willing to make them, and is it worth it? And then there's just an example here about my career previously and a decision that I made. So take some time now to think about your potential goals and the sacrifices you may need to make. And once you feel happy with them, turn the page and let's write some goals. So I'm going to have a think about that as I'm doing my goals. So just quickly, what I'm going to do is show you these goal spreads before I go off and fill them in. So there's a maximum of 3 goals you can set, and depending on how big those goals are and how much is going to be under them, you might not want to pick 3. Last time I just picked 2, and that also was reflected on how much time I had available to devote to my projects. So for each goal, there's a double page spread for you to plot it out, and in the first box, you write out your goal for the 90 days. Then how will I know I've completed it? So that's what you're going to check back against at the end. How will it help you move closer to your vision? What could happen if you don't achieve the goal? Which areas of your life could this be impacting on? Then brainstorm some projects that could help you achieve this goal in the 90 days. And then have a think about which will have the biggest impact, and then decide on 2 to 3 projects that you're going to focus on this time around. So it might be that you come back to some of those others in your brainstorm in the future and you prioritise which ones will have the most impact now. So that's what I'm going to do now for my 3 goals, and then I'm going to come back and run you through all 3. If I decide 3, I think I am going to do 3 this time. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back and I have mapped out 3 goals, which is what I thought I would do, and I've ended up with 6 projects that I'm going to work on. Last time I had 4. The first one was around health and building strength, and I tried to be very specific. So I've said my first goal for this 90 days is to increase my fitness gradually to reach the level of 30 minutes walking per day, physiotherapy 5 times a week, and 1 fun exercise per week. So something like badminton or tennis, or something that feels enjoyable, not like a chore, is what I mean by a fun exercise. How will I know I've completed it? I will have reached the level of activity set out in the goal by the end of the 90 days. So I'm going to work up to it, but by the end of the days, I'm going to reach that level. So that's why I've been really, really specific, so that I've got a specific goal point that I'm working towards reaching. How will this goal help me move closer to my vision? I've said I will be stronger, and building strength will have become a fun part of my routine. These will be lifestyle changes, not a fad. What could happen if I don't achieve this goal? I've said my pain levels will increase due to lack of movement, and I will not be able to carry out as much activity. This will negatively impact my self-esteem. Which areas of my life could this impact on? I've actually ticked all of them, because if that strength isn't there and I'm having this kind of decline in my chronic illness and my pain levels, then it's really going to impact all aspects of my life, and vice versa. If I manage this goal and I manage to increase my fitness, then I'm coming from a much stronger base for carrying out activities in all of these areas. So yeah, it just goes to show how important it is to me really when I look at this now. The following projects could help me achieve this goal in 90 days. I said establishing a regular exercise routine, making changes to my diet, completing a challenge around a number of steps per day, and finding a fun exercise I enjoy. And I decided just on 1 project, which would be establishing a regular exercise routine that increases over time. So that is my first goal. So my second goal, I've said I will increase efficiency in my business. How will I know I have completed it? I said I will have a better understanding of my business processes and will have streamlined them. I will have made improvements in terms of both time and economic efficiency. So by that, I mean I want to get the most out of the time I spend. So I want there to have been improvements made in terms of my output. The time I put in, I want to get more output from it. And then economic efficiency, kind of similarly, I want to make sure that the money I'm spending, I'm getting the most out of it. There are some subscriptions that I can maybe review. I have a project around my website that I've decided to look at, so I'll explain that in a minute. How will this goal help me move closer to my vision? I said streamlining work processes will help protect my health. I will have created the space to be able to grow my business, not just maintain it. What could happen if I don't achieve it? My business will not grow. I will be overworked, which will impact on my health and well-being and my personal life. So which areas of my life could this impact on? And again, I ended up ticking them all, because something that I find and why I want to kind of streamline things is not just to try and shoehorn more in, but also to try and find balance between my work life and other areas of my life, and make sure that work is not completely taking over. The following projects could help me achieve the goal. I said, think about removing a branch of my business to focus on others. Think about a move to my own website, that's for my shop. remove the fear holding me back and stealing time, examine and streamline processes, and create a business manual. So I decided on 3 projects and I'll explain them now. So first project, move my shop to my website. And ironically, in the beginning, this isn't going to be very time efficient because I'm probably going to have 2 shops up and running, one on Etsy and one on my website. But it is a move that I've wanted to do at some point, and I need to do at some point. And one of the reasons being, Etsy has just increased their fees again, and it's really eating into my profit margins. So for all the time I'm putting into my shop, I'm really not making that much back. And I want to encourage my regular customers to shop directly through me so that I get more of those profits. Now, I've had a bit of a beginning look into this on and off over the last few months, and setting up an e-commerce shop on my own website is going to come with its own fees, but I am hoping that in the long run it's going to be a much more cost-effective way to try and direct people from my social media and my repeat customers direct to my own website, and then just keep Etsy there for people that find me through Etsy search, but in the long term encourage them to come back and shop with me directly through my own website. So that's the thoughts around moving the shop to my website, but I also think it will be more efficient for customers because all aspects of my business will be in one place, and I can embed YouTube videos on my website, I can have my shop directly on my website. It just makes it a little bit more coherent. Then the second project, I've said removing fear. And I spend a lot of time worrying about what is the right thing to do and letting self-doubt hold me back. And it steals a lot of time from my working day. I recently joined Indie Roller, which is like a small business coaching community for creative businesses. And they have a 30-day challenge looking at teaching yourself a process of coaching yourself to catch those negative thoughts and to be able to kind of interrupt those thought processes and have more intentional, positive thoughts around your business that lead to positive action. So that's what I'm planning to do as part of that project. I want to learn that process. I want to be completing it on a regular basis and for it to really become an ingrained habit so that that self-doubt isn't eating into my efficiency all the time. And then the third project is around streamlining processes, and this is really similar to the restructure project that I didn't all the way complete in the last 90 days. And I really want to start to examine what I'm spending my time on. Can that be streamlined in any way? And how much time do things actually take in reality, so that when I'm forward planning, I know what I can realistically fit in and what I can't, and then I can prioritise things accordingly and again find more balance in that way. So those are my 3 projects under increasing efficiency. So I'm excited about those. My last goal, I said to devote time to support the autistic community at least once a week. So last week, as I'm filming this, was Autism Acceptance Week, and I was a lot more visible on Instagram as being an autistic shop owner for Plan, Inspire, Create, and I did some events and products around autism awareness and acceptance, and it really made me miss doing this on a more regular basis. I have a blog and podcast that I run called The Autisphere with a friend on autism and what it's like being an autistic adult. And the time I've spent on that has really dropped off, and I want to make that more regular, but also look at other ways that I can involve myself in supporting the autistic community. So how will I know I've completed it? I'll have evidence of activities completed at the frequency set out in the goal, which was at least once a week. How will it help move me closer to my vision? I'll be helping and supporting others in a way that's sustainable for me and that feels meaningful. And it will also help me feel part of local and online communities. So what I mean around it being sustainable for me is, like, for example, I used to be a disability social worker. That wasn't sustainable for me. It led to my physical and mental health declining massively, and I reached burnout, and I've had a very long period of recovery, and I'm still not where I was before. So I need things not to be at the expense of my own health. It needs to be manageable over the longer term. What could happen if I don't achieve this goal? I will feel isolated from my local community and others similar to me, and I will miss out on supporting others, which is one of my core values. Which areas of my life could this impact on? I've said emotional, social and community, spirituality and values. So emotional, really giving me that sense of self-esteem and pride in what I'm doing. Social and community in terms of giving back to the autistic community, feeling a part of the autistic community and making those connections. And then spirituality and values, like I said, one of my core values is really around helping and supporting others, which is obviously what I try and do through Plan, Inspire, Create, but I also want to do it in this other way that isn't directly work related. So the following projects could help me achieve this goal. I said getting involved in my local autism hub, contributing to conversations about autism on social media, and the Autisphere, producing more regular content. So that's my blog and podcast. So thinking about which would have the biggest impact, I've set 2 projects. Getting more involved in my local autism hub. So that might include going to events. They're looking for people to be on their steering group to contribute to how it's run and what kind of activities they carry out, stuff like that. And then the Autisphere, I want to produce more regular content. So those are my 3 goals. So when I come back tomorrow, I'm going to be breaking down those individual projects into the habits I need to implement and the actions I need to implement. And I'll show you my process for doing that. And I will go through the projects and how I think they're going to run in brief detail, not in super detailed detail, or we'll be here all day. And then there are a couple more activities in this section. One is around making sure this will actually work and thinking about how you're going to structure your time to be able to achieve these things. And then the last thing is creating a vision board, which is always a fun exercise. Although I might do that in its own video, we will see, because I always think it's nice to take time over that and see the process of someone putting that together. So I wouldn't want to rush it. So it might be that that ends up being a video on its own. We will see how long the projects take. So come back and join me tomorrow to see how I translate those goals into projects and then break them down into the individual steps we need to take. It's a really, really important step to make sure that once you're ready to start that 90 days, you know exactly what you're doing, you're out of the planning phase, and you can just work your way through the actions. So if you like the video, please like it and consider subscribing if you're not a subscriber already, so that you get to see all of my videos when they come out. And I will see you back here tomorrow for the next video. Bye!